So what do you get when you cross a game franchise that has a brand new engine and an anime that has more pitchforks in its skull than the amount in any weapon shop? You get tea time on Sundays! So what do you know, we got another spin-off to cover today. No real sense of a pull in popularity this time. Neptune's the protagonist. However, there is a lot of focus placed on Vert this time around. Yeah, at this point this is the closest we've got to our own Vert spin-off. If you're wondering how, well, think of Fire Emblem Awakening. In that game, the protagonist is the avatar for the player, canon named Robin. However, Chrom gets the focus of the story and acts as the main character. Sort of like Uzume's role in Megadimension Neptunia V2. As for where it is in the timeline, considering all of the characters in this game know each other, including Uzume, I believe this is a side game taking place within the main series canon after Megadimension, considering, you know, Uzume. The game starts out fairly simple. No real threats going on, nothing here to destroy the world as we know it. No, Vert's Wonderland, yes, that's exactly what I'm calling it from now on, starts with the main CPUs entering the world of 4 Goddesses Online, a beta version as the CPUs are beta testers for Weiss Labs, the company who made it. Obviously Vert's excited, as the party of 4 encounters their navigator and Vert's sister number 1, Bouquet. I like these scenes where Vert hugs Bouquet, namely since Bouquet is, well, programming, so I highly doubt she was programmed for something like this. So, while the story of 4 Goddesses Online plays out, we get bits and pieces of the story behind Vert's Wonderland, namely with these 2 new characters. Kiria, a knight, for her princess from a previous guild, and Black Cat Princess, who I'll just call Kuro Nekohime, the previously mentioned princess as well as Vert's sister number 2. Their past revolves around how everyone in the guild they were in all were apparently in love or loved Kuro Nekohime, including Kiria. However, because of this, their old guild came crashing down. This explains Kiria's jealousy of people getting close to her princess, so an alliance with Team CPU is out of the question. Eventually, due to Kuro Nekohime's growing jealousy, she and Kiria get used by Mine, the main antagonist who wishes for the failure of 4GO, through their avatars powering up Mine's cheetah. Not even subtle. With the help of the Game Master of 4GO, no, not that one! Come on, Pcuspard, get a grip!
Well, excuse me, it's not my fault they have the same title.
Look at the context clues, you moron!
Well, look at you, you're just calling yourself a moron!
I don't care! Get it right! Anyways, with the help of GM, the overseer of 4GO, Team CPU is able to summon Green Heart, Purple Heart, Black Heart, and White Heart, and beat 4GO, as well as defeat Cheetah, as Vert tells Mine she would love to play Mine's game, World Break Online, so Mine could atone for her crimes in 4GO. The story for CyberDimension is nice, as it's able to correlate 2 different stories into one. As like I mentioned before, this is really Vert's game. And it's in this game where she's really in her element, as she enjoys playing games a great deal, and is even able to clear the air with Mine about World Break Online. She has a lot of focus here, especially since she's the legendary Green Heart of World Break Online, as well as the main focus of Kiria's jealousy, as Kuro Nekohime is quite a big fan of hers, making the little sister connection make a bit more sense. On to the gameplay. Instead of being a JRPG like the main series and Super Dimension, CyberDimension instead focuses on real-time action RPG gameplay. You're able to have a party of 4 out at a time, and fighting an enemy is as simple as walking up to it and attacking it. Much like the Zelda franchise, you can lock onto an enemy so your party can all focus attacks on one enemy. You can also map out strategies and talk in a chat room with your party members. I like to think this is a nice nod to chat logs within various MMOs. The dungeons in the game are fairly vibrant. Each dungeon has their own specific look that separates them from each other. Now, while I do love this game, there are definitely some problems. Hell, they start as soon as choosing to play it. Namely, the loading screen for the game. Sure, it looks nice and could actually serve as a nice background for videos, however, it's long. And don't think this only happens once. Oh no, this happens every time you want to boot up the game. The reason this is a problem is because it can take the player out of the experience before the experience even starts. Though, on the bright side, this can likely equate to a lack of loading times in between dungeons of the game, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Another double-edged sword is the mapping out of strategies. The character you control, or the current party leader, can assign the other 3 members to an action. However, the AI for them isn't the best. Like, Greenheart, I don't know what you're doing, but it looks like a lot of fun. Of course, if we want to get our chops in on the game now, we might as well bring up one of the issues in every game. It's not Neptunia without some reused assets. The enemies in these dungeons are, for the most part, the same enemies in every Neptunia game, and since the models are the same, it goes farther than just saying they're returning enemies. Hell, this even extends to some of the bosses of the game. For the first half, they look the exact same with a different coat of paint. Ultimately, this isn't really that big of a deal for me, because it doesn't affect my enjoyment of the game. Speaking of which, I would definitely consider CyberDimension to be the best out of the large amount of Neptunia spin-offs. There's a great deal of polish in this game, and while the beginning loading screen is one of the bigger issues of the game, I'd rather have one long loading screen over multiple loading screens during gameplay, especially when that gameplay is quite fun. I'd really like to see another Neptunia game in the style in the future. With that said, I'm Pcuspard, and see you next Nep!